Grab your fam and grab some clay because it's time for family art making. What's up, Ringling fam? It's Kallie, and today we'll be making emotion sculptures. But before you just jump right on into making the sculpture, let's talk a little bit about a sculpture we have at the Ringling, and also talk a little bit more about how exactly art can show different specific emotions. So in the Color Covo Glass Pavilion, we have this sculpture created by artist Laura Donifer called Yellow Amulet Basket. It's a part of a larger series with many of these amulet baskets of various colors and themes. However, all of these pieces are meant to bring joy to you whenever you look at it. Donifer started this series after the tragedy of 9/11. She wanted to bring joy using her glass creations after an event that caused a lot of heartbreak and sorrow. Donifer says that she always starts with an emotional reaction to an event and then tries to show that reaction that she had in her glasswork. So let's take a look at how exactly we can see joy in this sculpture. Let's start with the color. Yellow is usually associated with bright, happy things, like sunshine, for example. It shines brighter than a lot of the other colors and captures your attention right as you see it. And now let's look at some of the shapes. There's a lot of swirling and curling pieces at the top. They're very bouncy and seem like they're just bursting out of the top, ready to scatter like a firework. When you're full of joy and excitement, the same thing can happen, right? You can start to bounce and spin around and feel like you might just burst from happiness. To me, this sculpture shows a similar effect. These are a few of the things that you'll need to think about when you start to create your own sculpture. If you need any ideas, I have a few that can get you started. For sadness, the color blue, teardrop shapes, or small shapes that are curled into themselves. For love, you could use the color pink, heart designs, or interlocking patterns. For fear, I think of the color black with swirling patterns and shapes or shaky lines. For calm, the color green, straight lines and gentle slopes, or simple repetitive shapes. For anger, the color red, fiery patterns or spiky and pointy shapes. All of that's just my opinion, of course. You can really use whatever colors and shapes that you'd like to create your own sculpture. It's really up to what you want. For my own sculpture, I'll be using anger, mostly because I have a lot of red clay that I need to get rid of. I think he agrees. Many of the materials you'll need for this are really up to you. But you'll need some kind of clay, Play-Doh, or Model Magic. Then you'll need various decorations in the colors you decide to use, or some stuff that you have at home already. I ended up using paper straws, pipe cleaners, and gemstone stickers. I started my sculpture by rolling out the Model Magic into long strips. I used the color red because of how your face turns red when you're angry. Then I started coiling those pieces into a little base. The coiling reminded me of when you're angry and you clench your fists really tight. After that, I cut the straws into little pieces to act as spikes coming out of my sculpture. My sculpture is definitely ready to fight now. You better watch for those fingers. I also added some short pipe cleaner pieces later on for this same reason. The long pipe cleaners, also red of course, added an extra layer of that curly, confusing anger kind of exploding out of the top of my sculpture. As you can see, they also kept popping out, which added another layer of anger, but it was from me trying to get them to stay in place. Anyway, next I rolled out some more strips to put into some of the straws, showing the anger kind of leaking out and dragging behind the sculpture. More curly shapes were added later just for some extra variety. I also added some shiny red gemstones to make it pop a little bit. And finally at the end, I added this little red ball of clay and dropped it into the hole I left at the top. It's supposed to represent whatever started this angry feeling, rolling around inside of you until it bursts out into the shapes of the sculpture. So there's my completed emotion sculpture. I'd love to see what emotion you all chose and how you use different colors and shapes and materials to show that emotion. Definitely send a picture via Facebook on our Family Programs Facebook page, or you can direct message the Ringling page. You can also send us an email at education@ringling.org. No matter which way you do it, please let us know if you don't mind that we share it with the rest of our friends on the Family Programs Facebook page. We would love to see what everybody's up to, and I know our other friends want to see what you're up to as well. That's all I have for this, fam, so I'll see you next week in the same time, the same place. Bye!